Hey friends, today we're turning our attention to what's heating up in the fall 2025 conference circuit for digital health and healthcare. There are 4 big events on the calendar coming up: SHSMD Connections, Health, HCIC, and the CHIME Fall Forum. So there's a lot to watch, and I wanted to give my independent view on what to expect from each of them based on what the speaker lineups and agendas are telling us about where the industry's headed, as well as what's top of mind, and finally what to expect. So I'm going to try to connect some dots here based on what we know so far. So hey, let's dig in. Let's start by running through what's known so far for each event, especially what's new or maybe especially notable. I'm going to go in chronological order. So the first one coming up is SHSMD Connections, October 12th through 14th in Dallas. The audience is healthcare strategists, marketing, communications, planning, and business development leaders. And the emphasis is on real tools, innovation, and strategy. From the conference description, they talk about exploring the trends, tools, and innovations shaping the future of the field from AI and patient engagement and on. They're also focused on custom roadmaps for different types of attendees, so first-time attendees or rural attendees, so sessions are more tailored. Next up is Health, so that's October 19th through 22nd in Las Vegas. The headcount's a lot bigger. It's 12,000 plus attendees, 2,700-ish CEOs, and 400 plus speakers. It's a big one, so focus areas are called out explicitly in their materials, including AI and emerging technology, care delivery, health policy, investment strategy, and a lot more. There are specialty tracks and pavilions for AI, a diagnostics zone, a nurses and clinician insights area, pharma, payers, value-based care, health equity, and patients, etc. And there are some new signals coming from the agenda this year that should be interesting to see, and I'll get a little bit more into it in a minute, but it does include fewer panels and more candid conversations, as they're referring to them, hot seats, challenge arenas, founder tell-alls, topic bingo, and really just more spontaneity. The third one is HCIC, the Healthcare Internet Conference, which is scheduled for November 9th through 12th in Las Vegas. This again is targeted towards healthcare digital marketers and digital leaders, as well as patient experience professionals. While it's focused on a health system leadership audience, they do like to bring in people such as they have a leadership coach scheduled for a keynote this year, Michelle Edelin. So their listed topics include AI-fueled discussions around digital transformation, personalization of health system digital properties, SEO changes, data privacy, digital strategy, and patient and consumer engagement. And these sessions tend to follow a case study format. Then finally, the CHIME Fall Forum, which happens nearly at the same time, November 10th through 13th in San Antonio. This audience is digital health leaders, CIOs, and innovators. The themes and discussions include interoperability, so EHR connectivity, FHIR, HL7, data exchange and quality. They want to talk about usable data, person matching, and digital health innovation on a lot of different levels. The branding is really strong here. One of the things that they're showing here are digital health outlaws, so kind of setting a tone for challenging the status quo. So based on looking at the agendas and speakers, I saw a few trends that are kind of popping up, and I want to highlight 5 of those trends, things that I expect to see just based on, again, what we know so far, and maybe what to watch for in addition to those. So clearly the number one thing is AI/generative and agentic AI in particular, moving from novelty to integral infrastructure. At Health, AI and emerging technology, for instance, is a major focus. There's an AI pavilion where real-world applications, investments, and regulatory issues will be the focus. HCIC is explicitly working on how AI is reshaping content creation, marketing automation, call centers, and SEO shifts. And overall, there's a sense that the maturity of AI is higher. So the discussions naturally have evolved even from a year ago. Instead of talking about what could AI do, we're seeing how could we integrate AI safely and ethically for operations, for patient engagement and experience, as well as regulatory and policy frameworks being part of the conversation. The second trend I'm seeing is interoperability, data exchange, and usable data as a foundation. I see a lot of this happening on the agendas for the CHIME Fall Forum and Health. CHIME's sessions include accelerating EHR connectivity, talking about APIs, so FHIR and HL7, as well as person matching and better data quality. And Health includes a diagnostics zone, a payer/value-based care area, a health equity and patient access theme. So all of these require good data and interoperability, and they are sure to be fueled by the Make Health Tech Great Again event and pledge from the White House that took place this summer. Third, patient and consumer experience and engagement, as well as personalization. Especially on the marketing and digital side of the house, we're seeing a lot of trends and talk in the engagement area. For instance, HCIC has a diet of consumer engagement, patient experience, SEO and content strategies, and website and mobile UX. SHSMD's agenda even talks about tools and innovations shaping patient engagement among other strategic priorities. And health includes specialty tracks for patients at health and insights tracks for clinicians and nurses. The fourth trend I'm seeing is transformation in formats. So more interactivity, new formats, and storytelling, as well as just more candidness overall. Now, again, we'll see how this all plays out in real time, but at least with their materials, with the agendas and so forth, we're seeing that health is explicitly promising fewer classic panel discussions and more hot seats, as they're referring to them. So more founder tell-alls and challenge arenas. So they're really trying to change the format of the discussion. And HCIC, while it has emphasized case studies in the past, they're talking about more masterclasses, deeper learning, and networking in more meaningful ways. Then the fifth trend I'm seeing is workforce, talent, and strategy in a shifting external environment. I'm seeing this one especially at SHSMD and HCIC. There are marketing and strategic planning tracks that include recruitment, retention, and internal structure. So how organizations are designing for innovation, as well as aligning team capabilities with new tech. I'm also seeing, as regulatory and reimbursement pressure builds, information for health systems and provider organizations that they need not just tech, but strategy and leadership skill sets to navigate policy and financial headwinds. So having more of those topics on the agenda this year should be quite interesting and timely. All right, so what should you be watching for? What do these trends suggest for people in the field? What should you prepare for? What should you lean into? And where are the risks or opportunities? I'm seeing a couple of things, or kind of implications, I guess, of these trends. The first one is an opportunity in combining tooling and strategy. So those organizations that pair tech investments with strategy around change management or user experience or workforce training are going to win. I'm hoping to see more of that, not just at the conferences, but following them. I'm also seeing regulation, policy, and ethics as a constraint and enabler. As AI becomes more central, regulators, privacy laws, and data governance will be under more focus. Conferences reflect that, especially at Health and CHIME. So staying ahead of regulatory compliance and ethical frameworks will be increasingly part of the job. And again, these are things that I expect us to see well past this slate of conferences. I'm also seeing how we have the potential to stand out by being more human and empathetic. I love this one. With personalization and patient engagement being so central, you see health systems and brands that are building trust through authentic storytelling and delivering experiences that feel more human. That's what will differentiate, especially with all the automation and AI-based approaches to content that are coming out. So I will be paying attention to that, but that's a big implication for what we're seeing on the agendas. I'm also seeing how interoperability is absolutely a competitive necessity now. It's not just a nice to have, it's a baseline for everybody. So being comfortable understanding the implications of the very latest with APIs, with data sharing, with connecting across systems, these are turning from aspirational to operational. And we sure look like we'll be able to see a lot of sessions and talk and conversations around that topic. And then finally, the last thing to watch for when it comes to all of this is talent strategy and organizational readiness. Those are going to be big bottlenecks. So having the right people, skills, and team structures to operationalize innovation are things that maybe we either just took for granted up until now or haven't had enough experience to really share out. So the fact that it's more of an emphasis this season should be really interesting. I mean, if you don't have people who can lead AI, data, and UX, you'll lag even if you have financial resources. So these are areas where I would invite everyone who attends these conferences to pay attention and maybe keep an eye out for. Now, let me break down those things to watch for as they relate to each conference in particular. So some specific things that I'll be looking for at each event that might signal how those trends are evolving. At SHSMD, look for how marketing and communications leaders are talking about competing with non-traditional entrants like retail health and big tech, how strategies for rural and small hospitals differ, and how digital patient engagement is being measured in ROI terms. At Health, look for whether there are breakthrough through case studies demonstrating agentic AI in operational settings, so not just in R&D, as well as how health equity and patient-centered design are woven into those stories, and what the regulatory and payment policy keynotes say about drug pricing and value-based care. At HCIC, let's look for which marketing channels or digital tools have standout ROI in 2025. This includes whether there's resistance or adoption fatigue with some new tech, like AI-based content generation, and how health systems are balancing automation versus maintaining trust and authenticity. Then finally, at CHIME, look for how CIOs and digital health leaders are managing trade-offs, investing in interoperability, data infrastructure, and EHR modernization versus the cost constraints that they're constantly playing under. That also means looking for how security and privacy are addressed in data exchange, and also whether person matching, so identity management across systems and experience orchestration, whether that moves from theory to concrete implementation within large health systems. So to sum it all up, the fall 2025 conference slate looks like a tipping point in many ways, and I think that reflects what's happening in the industry. We'll see how AI is no longer the future. It is most certainly part of the now, as well as how health systems deploy it ethically, interoperably, and with humanity. That's going to separate those who are leading versus those who are following. There are things like data exchange and interoperability that will no longer be optional. I know we've said that in years past, but you can feel kind of that tipping point right now, right? Patient experience and trust are central. They're not peripheral. And the way that we tell stories, hold discussions, and build networks, not just aspirational panel discussions, it's all evolving. So if you're attending any of these conferences, come ready with concrete questions. All right, well, that's it for this bonus episode. Let me know if you'd like to hear more like this one. And don't forget to visit healthcarewrapcommunity.com to create your free account for our new community, the only place to connect with fellow leaders and innovators who are bridging the gap between sick care and well care. That's healthcarewrapcommunity.com. Thanks, and we'll talk again soon.